decided that at 6 p.m. they would be done, and they went home. So they were only there for, I believe, 4 hours. That's why they got less money.
How much does the other guy get?
We worked all day.
Don't they all get the same amount per hour?
As far as, they weren't available to come in until later that afternoon.
I'm hearing what you're saying. My question is, what is the, I thought it was like $10.78 an hour is what they get paid?
They're all getting the same amount of money.
Right, they all get the same, so I mean, this here is like 10 times greater.
And we put more hours in.
Put a lot more hours
We
in,
put more hours in. Like I said, the other guys come in,
several days.
don't hold me to this. I'm gonna say around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It could have been a little earlier than that.
And this is for the
It worked
January
for-
4th snowstorm, that was when we had the state of emergency that was
Yes.
declared?
Yes. And it
Because
worked
the
for
dates here
6 o'clock.
don't match. So this means that the city was under state of emergency, did we get any funding?
Only after the state of emergency is declared.
This is such a small amount that the paperwork would be horrendous to go after this small amount of money.
Got it.
But I've seen a declaration of anything from the state.
I did have one question. What is Atlantic Prevention Resources Life Skills Training for, I guess, Municipal Alliance? That would be for $3,500.
There's a program put on over the school for the Municipal Alliance. We get reimbursed
Get funding from,
from the state through the county.
if my memory is, somewhere around $9,000 or something like allocated for the senior social program.
Yeah, they
And
give
this
like
year now.
$8,000, but we have a cash matching, kind match. Our portion is like $2,000, but
So this money here is from the grant.
yes.
Judge, just for future purposes, if you could, I actually think would be very helpful to everybody, including the public, once they start viewing this online on our city's website, that you should put a little notation from grant. People will see that and they'll say, geez, what's this all about? It's grant money that we've received. I would really like to see that.
I don't know if I can squeeze it in, the
You got a
system,
lot better.
yeah, the system only allows, what you see is what it allows.
Well, I guess the next thing would be is maybe need to be right underneath, so that you can't squeeze it onto the same line, maybe just put it in parentheses, below, above, whatever. Certainly would, or you know what, Judge, then go on to the next page and just simply have an asterisk next to this here, and then when you go on to the next page, you see the asterisk and say, money appropriated in a grant. Makes everybody's life a lot simpler. Anybody have any questions about the grants? Hearing none, is there a motion?
You make the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Second?
Second.
Any discussions? Questions? If not, hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Barbetto?
Yes, with the exclusion of 020.
Ms. Gibbons?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Venezia?
Yes. Next, I'm gonna call upon a young man who's been sitting here very patiently. I'm going to see the patience of the virtue of yours, Michael. So with that being said, you want to give your engineer report?
Sure, good evening. I'll be very brief. Atlantic County Improvement Authority, Bob McGuigan is reviewing the closeout documents for the walking path and the ADA improvements to the soccer field. There's 2 items missing that the contractor didn't provide. I've reached out to them, they're gonna provide those items, and then Bob said he'll process those closeout documents very shortly. And also, speaking of the CDBG grant, the city received a letter from the Improvement Authority indicating their 2018 kickoff meeting will be held on Tuesday, February 20th at 10 a.m. Our office represents the Township of Weymouth, and we've already acknowledged we were going to attend on their behalf. We could certainly attend on the City of Estell Manor as well. That's
That'd be good.
okay, thank you. And then next month I'll do a summary of the findings and It's the same annual meeting indicating how much funding is available. We'll go through the available projects that qualify based upon, block grants in your area, low to moderate income, and then, we'll see what's in the funds, and then one of the priorities was taking care of the walking path and the doorway out here, so, maybe that's something the council wishes to submit for this year's project, and then move forward with that.
I'd like to ask you a question, Mike. I think I may have asked this question once before. I don't recall what your answer is, so if I'm asking you again, it's because I don't remember. I think we all saw a couple months back, parking lot was a mud bowl. Even last Tuesday, when everything thawed out, it was a mud bowl again. We have people that are walking through that. You have ground that's very, very unstable, and for those that are a little elderly or that have some type of disability, I think it's a very significant liability to the town. So the question is, could we in fact get that parking lot paved with the CD and have it ADA compliant so people could get out of their van, they can have a sidewalk or have a parking lot that's asphalted? I did see one particular time when somebody was parked out onto the street that had a handicap van, and the parking lot over here was full on election day, and they were waiting to be able to get in. And it was clear skies, it's not like it was raining, but they waited very patiently for some time to be able to get a parking space. So I actually think that parking lot is a necessity to be paid.
The intent of this grant that the Improvement Authority administers through HUD is intended for low to moderate income individuals. And at each meeting, all the municipalities within Atlantic County are provided a map. And within that map, they have certain areas, and they indicate within these areas those that qualify as a low to moderate income area. And therefore, improvements such as paving the parking lot could be utilized, as well as roads and other items. The map and the individuals in this area don't qualify under the low to moderate income based upon their income levels. And the way we're able to utilize the grant is to make ADA improvements. So throughout the years, we've made several ADA improvements to municipal property. So if we were to make any sort of improvement through this grant, it would have to be strictly associated to the walking path and upgrading the paved portion to utilize as handicap spaces.
What about, I hope my math is going to be accurate enough, but I believe there's 640 houses in town. I also understand that there's 28 or 30, 32 houses that are in foreclosure. If we have a percentage, which that would equal somewhere on about 5% of the total inventory of houses are in foreclosure, would that be a qualifier?
Well, there's another mechanism we're actually going through with Weymouth Township right now. If you don't agree with their mapping, you're able to identify an area to make an improvement, and then those individuals in the immediate area that will be serviced by that will be required to interview. And there is an interview list and some of the questions in regards to their income. If the certain percentages fall and you're under that threshold, then that project may be able to be qualified through this funding. The only problem I foresee with something in this area as opposed to, let's say, a sidewalk down Cape May Avenue or something. This building services the entire city, so therefore the entire city would have to be accounted for within that survey. If you were going to do an improvement on a roadway, the individuals immediately utilizing that improvement would be within that survey area. So for example, Weymouth is interested in putting a sidewalk down Route 50. We've identified an area of the individuals that will use that sidewalk, and we've sent the mapping and the Improvement Authority has sent a survey questionnaire to HUD, and it's currently under their approval. Once that's approved, the homes within that area, our office is gonna do the survey, and based upon the data, the Improvement Authority and HUD are gonna make a determination whether or not we can proceed with a sidewalk, because those individuals qualify as the low to moderate, individuals and have that high of a percentage.
So in so many words, the asphalt, resurface the parking lot, that's out the door, can't happen.
Unless the mapping is changed, which I'll find out on Tuesday, I would say the entire parking lot could not be paved through this grant.
And I have a question to the council, which would be, when we have our next road project done, could we actually do an add-on for the parking lot to see how much it would cost to have that paved while they're already out over here, they have their equipment, what have you, and maybe we can get a pretty significant discounted price. It's not a real large parking lot, but nonetheless, it is a public safety issue that I see someone's gonna fall flat on their face someday.
You could do that. You could do that as an alternate.
Okay.
Good idea.
So that would be what, a change order that would be done for a contract once we award it to whoever's gonna be the low bidder? Or would that have to be re-advertised? I heard that you can do change orders and add-ons without going through the re-bid process. I don't know if anything's changed at all.
The only issue I can foresee is that when you're utilizing the state funding, and let's say the road project is the base and the alternate is the road improvements. If you have a low contractor, low bidder with just the base, but then once you add that, that becomes a secondary contractor who's higher than the base, the state isn't gonna like that because you took the combination of their project and your project and took a higher bidder for their base. I mean, the only alternative, you could probably bid them at the same time.
That money would not, let's just say hypothetically, and this means nothing, they're gonna charge $4,000 to resurface the parking lot. That money wouldn't be utilized from DOT funding. That would be
No,
simply
it
from
wouldn't
the,
be
city
utilized,
itself.
but since you tied it in to that contract, you impacted their grant funding and causing, this is that scenario that you get a bidder who's lower on the base, and let's say bidder number 2 is the next highest on the base. And once you add in the alternate, he becomes lower of the 2. You've then accepted a higher bid on the base that's dedicated towards the state funding for you to do your project as
We'll talk
well.
about this in the meantime. Once we get our road project closed out, then right, maybe we can.
I would recommend just bidding that separately, have the same bid date, and you'll have the same competitive contractors. Doing 2 separate contracts, do it as a capital improvement through the city. Same time, same start time, and you'll get a competitive, number.
How does council feel about that? Good, bad, and different? Anything?
Something to look into.
Okay, then Walker's Forge Road, I forwarded the closeout documents to Linda. A couple signatures needed. Once that's in, back to our office, we'll send that up to the state for final closure. Kentucky Avenue, we just finished that design. However, if you're familiar with that road, it just dead ends. And one of the options we did, we repaved Steelman Landing Road. We added a turnaround area. I'm looking to add that, or however, I just need to verify some property lines within that area to make sure we're doing all the improvements with the right of way. So our survey crew is going to be out there next week just to verify, and then I'm going to submit that up to the state. Look to have a bid opening in March, and then at the April meeting, I'll have the bid summary, and council can make a recommendation to award. Generally, it's a 4 to 6 week turnaround, so probably the middle of May, we're looking to be paving Kentucky Avenue. And then lastly, the 2018 application for Onshon Road was submitted to the DOT, and we're currently awaiting notification whether or not the city was fortunate enough to receive a grant for fiscal year 2018.
When do they usually come out, huh?
They vary. We've had them as early as March and as late as May.
Sometime in early spring.
If I may say, with the Christie administration, it seemed like you spread them out and you didn't really get, it seemed like you were doing them on a 14, 15-month basis. rather than doing it annually. He stretched it out so that way we have the best time to do it. In the course of 4 years, we actually missed 1 year of grant. The way it spread out from what I thought I was seeing, we got along, but
There was a little delay, and if you recall, there was the shutdown in July.
it was that as well. Yeah. We'll discuss this and revisit this, later. Okay?
Sure.
Anything else, Mike?
That's everything.
Anybody from council?
One question. You turn around at the dead end of Kentucky, what size you they gonna make?
I'll have to see how that, I mean,
Because
just,
we're talking about, trash trucks and, good sized vehicles in there, and I don't want them going over into the property where they're gonna actually do some damage.
we're gonna make it as big as we can within that right of way.
Within the right of way.
What's unique is that you don't have a lot of room to
Right.
work with. One of the homeowners has a fence pretty close, so it's not gonna be a bulb. You're probably gonna have a club turnaround.
Okay.
But like I said, once we get that survey information, I'll evaluate that and make that as large as we can, maintain the improvements within the city right away.
Thank you.
Excellent. I mean, I'm patient with us, but, this is just kind of one of those unusual meetings that we had to have yet another reorganization, so.
Not a problem.
Well, this is the reorganization part, dude.
Have a good night.
Have a good evening, thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have,
You need to do a motion to accept the engineer's report?
yeah, motion to accept the engineer's report. Thank you.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Next, we have ordinance, on first reading, an ordinance to establish a cap bank. Everybody's had the opportunity to read it. If there's any questions or whatever, we're ready yet, let's have a motion first and then we can discuss it.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Barbetto?
Yes.
Ms. Givens?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Venezia?
Yes. Next, we have, the transfer of funds, 33-2018. Somebody want to make a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Barbetto?
Yes.
Ms. Givens?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Venezia?
Yes. Before we leave our resolution, we do in fact actually have a very distinguished person in the audience level here. And I don't think anybody knows more. Don't ever try to challenge him, he knows his stuff, but quite frankly, we do have a couple of sample resolutions from other municipalities, one of them being Buena Township, pertaining to the state with what they want to do with changing the law on bee farmers. And I actually, in fact, Jim Owen, I've had many conversations with you about bees or whatever, you've always done nothing but amaze me with what you know. You have stayed on top of this issue. Do you have any recommendations that you would like to see this council do? We do have two sample resolutions. I mean, honestly, one is worded a little bit differently than the same, but quite frankly.
Are they the new resolutions?
I have this one here. They both reach the same conclusion, that the municipalities are opposed.
Right.
So I think that,
No.
I know it's not on the agenda, but I mean, we just got this and
And we should be discussing this at a work meeting and then bring it up.
we are, I mean, we're not talking about a resolution that's gonna be spending money. This is,
I'm not,
I hear you.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that the proper way to do that would be discuss it first.
We have to open
and
that
then
up
bring
to
it
the
back
public
so everybody
again.
can discuss
It
it.
doesn't get opened back up, Linda, this is just simply a resolution, it's not an ordinance.
At the end of the meeting.
So, I mean, honestly, I think it's okay. If council's gonna say no, I mean, I'm outnumbered on it, but I would like to do something, and if not, we'll have this on the next meeting that we have to oppose the state for what they're trying to regulate with bee farming. I mean, my God, how can a little guy who wants to have a smaller bee farm be told that he can't? Or that they're gonna regulate him to the point where no matter what he's gonna do, he's wrong. People don't seem to realize that without bees, Meantime, wouldn't necessarily really be here.
Not doubting it.
So, do you know which of the two that you're leaning towards that you like?
We have the one from,
Example?
I apologize, okay. We have the one from, Buena Vista Township, and refresh my memory, what was the other one? What was the other one from Linda?
I'm not sure since they're not on the agenda.
Have both of the sample resolutions that we have, and council will decide which one they like better. But once again, it's just gonna reach the same conclusion, that we are opposed to what the state is, trying to say. Bill list, we've already done. Meeting minutes, we have the January 3rd, 2018. I need a motion. I'll make the necessary motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, correction, additions, deletions? What do we got? Everybody's all had a chance to read the minutes, so anybody? Okay, so there's a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Moving down, we have the department reports, we have the municipal court, we have the January clerk's office, the fire company, the public works, the tax collector, and zoning officer's report. Somebody make a motion to accept?
To accept the minutes.
Is there a second?
Department reports.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any,
I noticed on the city clerk's cash receipts log for January 2018, we received $5,768.62 from the FiOS franchise fee. That is from the fee from 2017, which was a very lean time because it was just started. So we're probably anticipating at least double that next January. At least,
for 10,000.
at least.
So they gave us 5,000 for just a couple months of service, and then the following year they're gonna.
Not only a couple months of service, everybody didn't have it,
Right.
so.
It'll be free stuff.
Do you happen to know, Al, by any chance, what the, full calendar year is going to be producing for the franchise tax? Does anybody
Things
say?
it's based on what coverage or what policy that each person has. You know, if you have a $79.95 a month deal, or you have a $150 a month, it's based on a dollar amount. It's a percent of the dollar amount.
There you go. Well, off to a good start. There was a motion and a second to accept the, reports. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? New business, I guess we'll have the, B resolution posted to the, next meeting that we have, even if it's the workshop meeting, we'll throw that in there. Old business, I'm not aware that there's any old business. Anybody have any old business? Hearing none, I, now make a motion of the meeting to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Owen?
Jim Owen, 195 Route 50. I would like to make a recommendation for this spring. The city hall looks really poor when you drive up to it. It's not manicured, it's not cleaned up, the sidewalks are stained, it should be pressure washed, and maybe the place will look a little more professional, look better. It just doesn't. When I came up to vote both times, I looked around and I just thought, this looks very unkept. And we have municipal employees. I would say, let's make it pop a little bit. You know, let's try to do something with it to clean, at least so it looks clean, and maybe manicure it a little bit. That's my recommendation.
Anything about the bees?
Yeah, there's I think the state proposed a ordinance to restrict the beekeepers. And I think what's happening now is that there's so many municipalities, the beekeeper associations, and so many organizations and that are opposed to it, that now it's on hold, and a lot of the elected officials in the state have actually stopped the ordinance from being approved, and they're gonna rewrite it now. They're going to get the beekeepers associations involved in it. It was just unfair. They were restricting, say if you had an acre of land, you were restricted to 2 beehives. And it was just, it was horrible the way it was set up. It was gonna put people out of business, or put hobbyists out of the beekeeping, out of their hobby. So, I mean, it doesn't affect me. I have 50 acres, and, I usually run anywhere from 12 to 100 colonies of bees, so it doesn't affect me, but it would the little guy. It would take a lot of people that were trying to have a half a dozen beehives in their yard with 5 acres. You couldn't do it. So I think if you guys want to agree to having it redone, then, I mean, I think that's what you
Jim,
should.
would you like to give some input or maybe pass it along to the council here?
Yeah, I'll
Email
supply
it
you with
And,
all the
I'd like
information.
to see what you have on paper so that we
Yeah.
can make a better educated, because you know the business.
I've been doing it since I was 12 years old, so,
That's all.
okay.
Thanks. Anyone else in the public?
Kathy Garrett, 163 Kentucky Avenue. I was wondering if maybe at every meeting, someone from Public Works could be here, so that in case there's any question about anything that, concerning the town, or, that he would be here to be able to answer.
Then that gets into overtime.
Just to come to a meeting.
Right, Pam?
It's a noble thought, but it's.
No, well, we don't want no overtime.
If an issue, like I said before, you have an issue with something going on with Public Works, bring it to our attention.
But I have, Larry.
Pardon me?
I have many times, and things haven't been done.
And what hasn't been done?
Well, when they did our street, when they put the millings in, and they cleaned around those holes and threw all that asphalt right into somebody's property. It's still
In their
sitting there
driveway.
in their driveway,
In the driveway?
and
2
it's
years
still
ago.
there with weeds growing out of it.
Okay,
And I brought it up here,
I know you did.
and it was never taken care of.
No, it will be.
Get them to do it on Stillman Landing Road too.
Robertson?
Stillman Landing Road's the same way. They threw, everything got thrown in the woods and all kinds of, just take a ride down, you'll see it.
That's state property.
Huh?
That's state property.
No, it's on our property before you
Your
get.
property.
Yeah.
Anyone else in the public? Question, you're okay with planning board equipment, correct? Bubbling and joy.
Hey, I'm just listening, that's all, right now.
All right, make a motion to close the public.
Second.
All in favor? Make a motion to adjourn?
Excuse me, we forgot one thing. We said we were gonna go.
Yes, we're gonna go into closed session to discuss, excuse me, you're right. We're gonna go into closed session, we're not gonna come out with a decision. Council's welcome to hang around. If you would like to, excuse me, the public is welcome.
What time is it? You see that time?
9:25. Tell you exactly.